L spine. So for the L spine, we're going to use a 14 by 17 in the bucky again. For shielding, if your patient's tall enough, you can roll the rolling shield in front of them if it's not going to superimpose over the spine. If your patient's too short for that, then we just won't shield for the L spine, okay? So 14 by 17, again, open 17 top to bottom, and then you're going to find your patient's crest, okay? So we have to, you can put your arms
I'm just getting him out of the way.
So his crest is right here, and we're gonna center on the midline. So basically at the patient's belly button, okay? So right there, and then our collimation side to side stays the same, okay? And same thing with the marker. We can either stick it on our patient on the top corner outside, it's not very sticky, or on the wall bucky behind them. So if we have everything set, we can set it on the wall bucky first. So that is the APL spine. So centered at the level of the crest, midline, which if your patient has not had any type of abdominal surgery or anything like that, it's at the belly button, okay? And then for the lateral, he's gonna turn and face the left and knock the marker on the floor. So you can't have it there, it's gonna be right on the spine. You have to put it in the top corner. And then cross your arms up over your chest for me. Good. Step to the left so that you're against the board. And then your centering doesn't change, so we're still at the level of the crest. And then same thing with the light field here. So we want the light to just be kind of wrapping around the back like this. We don't need it to be, we don't want it super far forward, we want to be centered on the spine. Just like that, make sure the hips are nice and straight. And for L spine, the breathing instruction is to blow your air out and hold it out, okay? The reason for this is it gets the diaphragm up and away from the lumbar spine so that we have the same density throughout the lumbar spine, if that makes sense. We don't have lung field over L1 and L2, which is gonna cause burnout and things like that. So blow the air out to bring the diaphragm up so the density stays the same. So that's the lateral. The last view for lumbar spine for practicum is going to be the L5-S1 spot view. So for this one, we're going to switch to a 10 by 12. We're going to stay in that position. Okay. So 10 by 12, I know the book says 8 by 10, but we don't have 8 by 10 cassettes. And like we've talked about before, now that everything has gone to digital, you're typically not going to find 8 by 10s in the field either. It's going to either be large or small cassette. Why is that not fitting?
You come from work. You go to work after.
Okay, so 12 top to bottom. Now for this one, to find your centering point, the book says that it should be 1.5 inches below the crest and 2 inches posterior to the aces, okay? So if you find the crest and you just kind of cup your fingers around, so you have your pointer finger on the anterior portion, your thumb on the posterior portion, and then we bring our finger down like this to the middle. It's a 5 to 7 degree tilt, so, or 5 to 8 degrees caudal angle to come through that joint space. So right about there. And then we bring this down to line it up, and we collimate top to bottom. So right about there. So again, cup over the crest, bring our finger down, and that's your centering point. Okay, so that's about 2 inches posterior to the aces. So the aces is here, we're coming back there, and then 1.5 inches to 2 inches down from the crest. Okay? Marker for this one, you can either A, have your patient move once you line them up and put it in the bottom of the light field here, or you can stick it in the bottom front anterior corner on your patient, just like that. Okay, so that's not gonna be over any of the anatomy, because we're looking at L5-S1 joint space in this view is what we're evaluating, okay? So your AP, 17 inches top to bottom, centered midline at the level of the crest, you can relax. Your lateral, centered at the level of the crest again, with the light field just coming around the back, and then the L5-S1 where you're gonna cup the hip and then bring that middle finger down to be your centering point, okay? And that one has that little 5 to 8 degree caudal angle to come into the joint space. Good? Questions? No? All right.